am giving this message to all of you. I mean all of you, okay? Not just those who are obese, but this is not a joke. Okay, over 60% of people in this world are overweight or obese. There are more obese people than there are undernutrition people. So obese means that you have way too much fat in your body that your body doesn't break down. So basically there's a formula: calories in versus calories out. Calories in is when you take in the food, like the food and the drinks you take in, that all contains calories and sugars and fructose, and there's so many types of sugars. And energy out is when you exercise, or you do some exercise, or you walk or run. It doesn't matter what kind of exercise. It's called energy out, when your body breaks down the energy it uses. But now obesity is becoming a problem, especially child obesity during MCO time, because children aren't going out and they are eating way too sugary food. In the 1970s, obesity was becoming a problem, and they blamed it all on fat. So instead, they took out the fat and made everything fat-free. So you may have seen fat-free butter, fat-free mayonnaise. But if they take out the fat, the food will taste like cardboard and nobody would buy it, and the food industry will be like a total flop. So instead, they did a substitute for fat, which was, you guessed it, sugar. And that's why we still eat, drink, taste, lick, smell sugar today. Okay, so there's many types of sugar. There is sucrose, fructose, and some other sugars. Fructose is the sugar that's found in fruit. There is subcutaneous fat that builds up under your skin and makes you look visually fat for some people. And there is visceral fat that's really dangerous. It can cause diabetes type 2. And also, you may look thin, but you have the fat building up in your organs. So that's what it's called, fatty liver. When the fat builds up in your liver, it will disrupt the function of the liver. So that's becoming a problem now. And also, obesity is causing cardiovascular problems. So let's go back to the 1970s. In the 1970s, they thought that fat was the problem. So they replaced it with sugar, and they thought that sugar was healthy in the time. So they kind of encourage people. So the American Heart Association, they put sugar as the official replacement for fat. So you can see all these mayonnaise that say 99% fat-free. But if you look at the ingredients, you can see that they have 13 grams of sugar. That's like 5 times more sugar than those with 98% fat. So we see here, sugar can actually build up in the body because the body doesn't use the excess fat, okay? So it can also disrupt our brain and cause brain problems like Alzheimer's in the future. And sugar can also lead to the rise of acne. Okay, so that's not all. Sugar is like poison. It activates the reward system of the brain, and that's why we love sugar. We love sugar. I love sugar. You love sugar. Everybody loves sugar. So you don't feel fullness, and we always want to take it in. And that's why we have to take sugar, so that we can feed our reward system, so we can feel the pleasure again. Imagine you have a chocolate bar, okay? That chocolate bar is just so nice when it melts in your mouth. And it takes less than milliseconds. It takes milliseconds for the sugar to reach our brain and and activate the reward system. And that's why we always eat 15 chocolate bars if you can. But you know that this is bad. People know that this is bad. It's really hard to resist. So that's why you have to know the real effects of sugar into your body. Obviously, obviously, sugar is found in sugary stuff like Coke. You like Coke, right? You like Coke, Pepsi. Okay, let me give you. Fruit juice is also not really good, even though it's homemade. You see, one apple contains fructose. One glass of fruit juice, is made out of like 5 apples because they remove the fiber. So it doesn't give a feeling of fullness to our brain. So our brain keeps thinking that our stomach is full. But think about eating 5 apples. I can't even finish 1 apple. Think about eating 5 apples. Because the fiber sends messages to the brain and say, okay, we're full. Okay, so sugar can also increase aging. You see, sugar will mess with our body like it does. We were not evolved to eat sugar. Until the agricultural revolution, we started to eat sugar. And in the 1970s, when they stopped fat, they started to eat sugar and more sugar. So the whole world is becoming heavier and heavier now. There are more fat people than those who are fit. Okay, so most people are trying to resolve this issue with exercise. I know, it kind of works. But does it really work? It doesn't visually make you thin. So some people, they could be exercising for like 4 years and they still look kind of fat. But it doesn't help if you run 42 kilometers per day, because I don't think anybody wants to do that. But it depends on the metabolism rate of our body. Everybody is different. And just because you're thin doesn't mean that you're healthy. You could have visceral fat in your body that could be building up in your organs, but it doesn't show. So that's why that can cause problems. It's kind of sneaky. But subcutaneous fat that builds up in our skin are those that cushion it. So too much fat can cause a problem. And now the world is facing a diabetes problem. My grandpa has diabetes type 2 from eating too much sugar. So when we eat sugar, it affects our liver. Then our pancreas will have to excrete more insulin to compensate for that. So that will cause a problem when the pancreas cannot produce enough insulin. And that's why even newborn babies have diabetes. That is becoming a real problem. Diabetes, obesity, and sometimes it can even lead to cancer and dementia. So you know that sugar can be rewarding, but think about your body. Think about the real health effects. If you keep eating sugar like this, we'll have a whole new generation of unhealthy babies, and we'll have at least 2 or 3 generations until people will be thin like the old days. Okay, so now I've told you the effects of sugar, and now let me tell you about exercise again. It doesn't visually help, but it does help decrease the visceral fat. So the best way you can stop being fat is just to stop all stuff that you know is unhealthy. I know you find this hard. We all love chocolate cake. I love chocolate cake. But I know I have to stop now, and we can see the effects of it since we can't get enough exercise now because of MCO. Okay, but now MCO is finished, of course, so people are starting to exercise again. But of course, that will cause another health threat, but that's another story. Anyway, so basically, avoid sugary stuff. Oh yeah, let me give you another warning. Of course, you know that sugar comes from chocolate cake, candy, Coke, Pepsi, all that stuff. But sugar can be everywhere. Every item in the grocery store that has a label on it has some kind of sugar. We cannot live without sugar, and we consume a lot of sugar per day. And some dumb people even eat raw sugar because it tastes so good. So anyways, I'm just giving this message to you to tell you the effects of sugar and how we can work together and stop its effect. Oh yes, so you might say, hey, but I've seen the effects and they said it's a healthier choice. Well, but think about the economy. If everybody knows, if it's unhealthy, if the government promotes it unhealthy, it will promote a big threat to the economy. And that's why they put healthy, 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 even though it says on Milo, healthier choice, you know it's not really healthy. It's filled with sugar. So you can't trust these stuff, and it's filled with like 30% sugar for one healthy, Fruity Pebbles cereal. And sugar can be in ketchup, it can be in bacon, it can be in hamburger patties, it can be in all sorts of stuff. So basically, for a healthier diet, try eating oats. You can try eating oats. Try eating more things with fiber in it, like real apples. So stop drinking apple juice. So just take the real fiber that's really beneficial to your body. Do what's beneficial for your body instead of what's beneficial for your taste buds. Because this will really impact our community, and soon we can build a healthier Malaysia and a healthier world. Bye!